It's Sports Scene with Steve Russell. Time to eat some lunch and talk some Gator sports.
Sports Scene with Steve Russell is presented by
International Diamond Center
and brought to you in part by
Meldon Law, Gator Trim Lights, Fair Life Mills, Titan MRI Imaging, QC Kinetics, Ruse Ogra State Farm, Quality Plumbing, Campus USA Credit Union, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill.
Now, here's Steve Russell, right here on WRUF.
Welcome into a Thursday edition of Sports Scene as you listen on WRUF, powered by ESPN. I'm Steve Russell. Jessica is our producer today. The National Football League will crank up the regular season tonight, and we have it for you. Cowboys, Eagles. And I got to ask this. If you're an NFL fan, whatever your team is, as you call in today or email or whatever, let me know what team you're rooting for and then what you think their record will be or if they'll make the playoff, that sort of thing. Be interested to know that, okay? Don't forget, Sports Scene brought to you every day, powered to you by our friends at Southeast Car Agency 310, Northeast 39th Avenue in Gainesville. The Cousins families run that business for over 45 years, and they do one thing great. They give you a great selection of late model, low mileage vehicles, the best of the best. I'm driving one now. I have for years. When you go by and see them, tell them Sports Scene sent you to Southeast Car Agency. As we also come to you today from the Gator Trim Light Studio. Gator Trim Light, you can show your Gator pride by turning your home orange and blue on game days, locally owned and operated right here in Gainesville. If you want to talk to us, we'd love to have you on Facebook. If you have a question, they're brought to you by Ruse Ogra State Farm. He's your go-to agent in Gainesville and North Central Florida for the service you deserve at the price you want. If you have a YouTube question, those are brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union, where Coach Spurrier does his banking. Campus USA, founded at the University of Florida, serving our Gator community for over 90 years. All of our guests on the telephone, courtesy of Titan MRI and Imaging, now with 3 locations in Gainesville, 1 in Lake City. Same-day scheduling always available. Start feeling better today, TitanMRI.com. Our email, srussell@wruf.com, brought to you by International Diamond Center. Don't settle for a knockoff diamond when you can get the best diamonds at the best prices for quality, selection, and value. International Diamond Center, the official jeweler of the Florida Gators. Also want to thank Quality Plumbing for sponsoring this hour of Sports Scene. When you need a quality plumber, rely on the same company that Gainesville's trusted since 1984. Quality Plumbing, their name says it all. And, of course, all of our guests brought to you by Meldon Law with 54 years of experience, the only injury law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Meldon Law won't back down. All right. Tomorrow, we will have our Prognostication Friday. Megan Borowski from our weather staff is actually in town. She'll be in the studio tomorrow to give you the weather forecast, and she thinks it's going to be dry for the game. So that is certainly a good thing. Today on the program, if all goes according to Hoyle, Buchholz and Eastside play a big game. Mark Whitmore, the Buchholz coach, will join us. We had Eastside's coach on, Gator Hoskins, yesterday. The play-by-play voice of USF, Jim Lauk, will join us today at the bottom of the 1 o'clock hour. And it's going to be a pleasure to talk to my next guest because I had a chance to mentor her and work with her. When she left here, our journalism college, she went to work at TV 20 as the weekend sports anchor. Now she is working in Kansas City at Fox 4. And Taylor Burr will join us to talk about the Chiefs, talk about the Royals. CAG's getting called up. So those are going to be the guests for today. Now, I was having a conversation with a buddy of mine today, and obviously Florida football came up, and we got into a conversation about this. The new College Sports Commission has cleared more than 8,300 name, image, and likeness deals. Take a guess. Don't look, okay? When you call in or email today, I want you to guess the value of those deals, okay? I was close, but I underestimated, okay? Again, there are more than 8,300 name, image, and likeness deals that were approved. The commission, which does approve these contracts, worth $600 or more between college athletes and third-party companies. They said, ready for this number, 28,432 students signed up on its NIL Go platform between June 11th, when it launched, and August 31st. Another reality now, agents. 3,200 of them also signing up. Of course, this is all part of the House settlement, which allows schools to pay athletes directly for their NIL. They also said 332 deals had not been cleared, 75 had been resubmitted, none entering arbitration, which a student can use. They said the most common clearance issues: delays in attesting or providing required information, contradictory deal terms, misreporting of deal terms, or mistakes in entering deal terms. So, as you can see, this process is an ongoing process, but when you call in, I want you to guess what the amount of money was when the commission cleared these NIL deals. Also, Game 2 on the schedule. We all know the gamut that Florida faces, starting with LSU. Let me ask this. If I pressed you to tell me what's the most important game on the schedule for Florida to win, tell me what that game would be and why. Okay? I have a thought, but I want to hear from you. And if you're an NFL fan, I want to hear from you as well. We're in that lull period here, where we're still waiting on a, competitive game for Florida to get your thoughts, but we'll get them. All right, 392-8255. You can email srussell@wruf.com. And if you're listening on YouTube, Facebook, we appreciate you doing that. Hello. And listening the old-fashioned way on radio, thank you for making us part of your day. It has been a real blast to come back and talk to you all again, but I want you to do that now. Do have a couple of emails here quickly. Charlie says, Steve, I'm glad you're back. My question to you is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how concerned were you with Florida's opening weekend? Concerned. Maybe a 3 or a 4. I mean, the offensive line's got to play better, especially the right side of it. But again, I'm not totally concerned. All right, let's go to Greg here. Greg, hi.
Hey, Steve. Again, thanks for the show. Love you and Jessica's production now that you're back. And, Steve, I'm confused. We just have to guess a number, like total number? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. In other words, they cleared, these deals, right, that players are getting, they cleared over 8,300 of them. So I'm asking, what do you think the total value of those deals is?
Okay, combined. I see what you're saying. Okay. I'm just going to say $300 million.
It's less than that.
All right. Well, now other people can guess.
Yep. Now,
and Steve, I wanted to say my game the most importance is, and no disrespect to USF, I think they're going to come in here hard-hitting with chips on their shoulders, that they're not Gators, but I think it's got to be LSU. We haven't beaten them in Tigers Death Valley, whatever they want to call it, in years, it seems like. And I just think this game will set up our season. I think we can go in there and beat them on the road. We'll gain the the respect of the nation. I think other teams will start looking at us differently than, like after beating NIU. And I think this weekend's obviously a big game, but that game at LSU is the one I think Florida has to win in order for them to have a successful season. Love the show, and go Gators.
Okay, Greg, thank you. Let's bring Woody in. Hi, Woody.
Yeah, hey, he stole my thunder. I'm thinking that if you win that game on the road, you set your season up, like he said, but also, the confidence level everywhere goes up, especially on campus, with the team. And if you can win that game, then you've shown the world and yourself that you can win all of them. I'm not saying they're going to. I'm just saying, I know that's a lot of pressure to put on such an early game, but, that is a barometer, a good barometer for how it's going to go. Plus, you don't want to start 0-1 in the conference. The number one goal always has been, and it is in most older Gator fans, I've been around since fall '83, win the SEC. I subscribe to Coach Spurrier's thought that if you win the conference, you're in good shape for everything else. So, to me, that's goal number one.
I had a sneaking suspicion that a lot of people would say LSU, and I get it, and I understand the reasoning that you and Greg have given. But if you lose a road game in the league against a really good team, at least we think they are, right? I don't think it's going to damage you. But if you can, to your point, if you win it, that's a huge, huge win. I just think my answer would be you got to win a game like Texas and win it at home. You got to take care. You got to take care of what you do at home, and then hope you can split on the road. And I think with this schedule, if it's the right three, even if you lose three, but it's the right three and you're competitive in them, you got a chance to make the playoff. So I think even if Florida loses at LSU but plays well, it's 28-24 or something like that, I don't think that does damage to Florida.
Yeah, you're probably right. It's just like Texas losing to Ohio State. It's
right.
Early, got plenty of games. But, yeah, Texas was my next one because I was thinking, you're expecting them to still be in the top 10, big game, home game, the swamp is back, all those signals, But, climb that mountain, man. If you can climb that mountain, night game at LSU, that would be awesome. That really gets the ball rolling.
No question. If that happens, you are absolutely right.
Yeah, the place will go nuts.
All right.
Imagine ticket prices.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You.
Yep, thank you, Woody. Appreciate the call. All right. 392-8255, the email, srussell@wruf.com. Again, Mark Whitmore is going to join us here in a couple of minutes, but we'll get Dave's call first. Dave, welcome.
Hey, how you doing, Steve?
Okay, Dave.
Yeah, so I'm going to give a cliche answer. The next one.
Okay.
And in this case, it's not just a cliche. If we can't beat USF, which is a good team, it doesn't bode well. It really doesn't. And that's a big confidence deflator. I agree with you. You can lose to LSU at their place and still win the national championship.
Yes.
But if we lose to USF, the next game, it doesn't look good, even though they are a good team.
Yeah, I think what happens, and I understand this, like let's say Florida wins this game and beats LSU, right? Oh, they're going to go undefeated because they beat LSU. And conversely, if Florida loses to South Florida, oh, they're going to go, 4-8. I get it because the games that are on the schedule on paper are certainly more difficult than playing a USF team. And remember, the point spread here, last I looked, is like 17. It isn't like it's, 3 or 4 points in this game. So, that somebody thinks Florida has a pretty good chance to win this.
Yeah, someone was talking on the radio yesterday with the other guys, and they were talking, I think it's a guy from the Tampa Tribune, saying that USF put their entire off-season practice, summer practice, fall practice into beating Boise. And so they haven't prepared much for the other teams, and they showed everything. Florida hasn't showed everything. So that bodes well for Florida, but better not be into trap game mentality because this is a good team.
I think because, Dave, USF did what it did, I've been told by several in the building there that, that game got their attention. So I don't think you're going to see Florida look ahead to LSU. I think they understand, this is a team that if you don't play well, bad things could happen.
Great. Thank you, Steve.
Yes, sir, Dave. Thank you. We'll come back, and hopefully on the other side, we'll talk to Buchholz football coach Mark Whitmore as you listen to Sports Scene on WRUF, powered by ESPN.
WRUF Sports Center.
I'm Nick Abreu. Only 2 more days until the Gators are in the swamp for Week 2 against USF. Quarterback DJ Lagway was disappointed in his Week 1 performance despite the 55-0 win for Florida. But J. Michael Sertivant has been impressed with how his QB bounced back in practice this week.
We're all looking forward to getting better each and every week. DJ, he's going to be hardest on himself out of anybody, so being able to see him be very detailed this week in practice, it's been great, and it's made everybody else want to be even more detailed and go even harder. So being able to have a leader like that in DJ is amazing and just makes the rest of the team better.
Could be trouble for USF if Sertivant and Lagway's connection gets going on Saturday. Gators soccer is at home against Florida Gulf Coast tonight. It's one of their last opportunities to improve before conference play starts next week. Kickoff at 7 p.m.
Hey, it's Steve Russell for Southeast Car Agency in Gainesville, 310 Northeast 39th Avenue. Friends, they've been in business for 45-plus years, and the Cousins family has done just one thing, but man, they've done it right. They give you the best alternative you have to purchasing a new vehicle, the best in late-model, low-mileage vehicles. I'm driving one right now, have been for a very long time. They've treated me right. They'll do the same thing for you. Go see them today, Southeast Car Agency in Gainesville.
It's football season, touchdowns and celebrations, and unfortunately, injuries. If you're injured, call Titan MRI and Imaging. No need to deal with long wait times and high costs to get your scans done. Titan MRI and Imaging will save you time and money. And the experience at Titan MRI and Imaging, much more personal than the sterile atmosphere of a hospital. Joe and his team are personally involved and will guide you through the entire process at any of their 3 convenient locations. So if you need a scan, call Titan MRI and Imaging. Learn more at TitanMRI.com.
When the unexpected happens, you need a legal team that's ready to fight for you, just like the Florida Gators. At Meldon Law, we're proud to partner with the Florida Gators to deliver winning results for those who have been injured at no fault of their own. With a strong record of success and a team that won't back down, Meldon Law is your trusted partner in tough times. Call Meldon Law at 352-373-8000 or visit us at meldonlaw.com.
Hi, I'm Coach Steve Spurrier, and I am a member of the Campus USA Credit Union. The Gator Nation has been counting on Campus USA Credit Union for over 80 years. Campus supports the Gators and our community. Campus membership is open to all UF students, faculty, staff, and alumni. Come see why over 100,000 members, like me, count on Campus USA Credit Union. So put some star power to work in your financial life. Visit campuscu.com and join today.
The most important thing I learned from my father was work ethic and integrity. Never veer away from integrity, even if it costs you money.
International Diamond Center owner Keith LeClaire.
The core value for IDC is to protect the customer.
That means offering the largest selection, uncompromising quality, the strongest warranties, and honest guidance from experts who are not paid on commission. International Diamond Center at Celebration Point. Online, shopidc.com.
He's got the 1966 Heisman Trophy, the 1996 National Championship Trophy, and 7 SEC trophies. Now he's got a new trophy, a can of beer. Steve Spurrier was the head ball coach. Now you can call him the head beer coach. Head Beer Coach 1966 Lager is available in 16-ounce cans at Gator games and stores all across Gainesville. You can also get it in the can or on draft at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Refreshing in all kinds of weather, Head Beer Coach 1966 Lager, a legend in a can.
The Hard Rock Bet Party's just getting started, and you're on the list. Hey, it's Steve Russell. Place your first $5 bet on Hard Rock Bet, and if it wins, you get $150 in bonus bets. That's extra firepower to kick off football season. Don't just watch the action from the sidelines. Get in the game on Hard Rock Bet today. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
The biggest names in Gator Nation appear here. WRUF 98.1 FM, 850 AM, and anywhere in the world on the WRUF.
Well, hopefully we'll get Coach Whitmore. He is not responding. I'm sure he's coaching somebody up, but we'll try to get him on here shortly. Patrick says, I'd pick number 2 to win because it's at home. I'd pick Texas, number 2. We're expected to lose to LSU on the road. He thinks Georgia, for sure, need to take them off the throne. The number 1 recruiting classes let them fall like low tide. He says, does Aaron Judge win the batting title? I would say no. But if he did, it wouldn't surprise me, certainly. He's had another terrific year. By the way, the amount that was approved, $80 million. 80 million in terms of NIL deals. That's just crazy. But that's the world we live in. This is interesting. The D1 Baseball Podcast just conducted an all-quarter century team draft. It took place last night. It highlighted college baseball's top players from the years 2000 through 2025. And some Gators were in it. There were 4 of them. Who do you think the 4 were? Okay, I'm going to have you guess. Okay, you can either Facebook or whatever you want to do, call, email, whatever. But who do you think the 4 were? All right, let's get some YouTube questions here. And again, we appreciate all the questions on YouTube and Facebook. YouTube questions brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. Jacob says, my favorite team is the Steelers. I think another nifty 9-8 season for a wild card playoff. Then we'll see if Aaron Rodgers and the improved defense can lock in. Yeah, the Steelers have had those consecutive years of making the playoffs. Shay, most important game for me is the Georgia game. Billy needs to get over the hump. And then a Facebook live question brought to you by Ruse Ogre State Farm. He's a Bears fan and predicts the Bears to go 10-7. You know what? I hope, Lucas, your team does go 10-7. You know, the Bears are, obviously a long-time franchise in the league, and they've not done well. And seeing them well again would be kind of cool for the NFL. Stephen says in our International Diamond Center email, do you think Coach Napier will be cautious about calling running plays for Lagway this season with injury in mind, or can you not think like that? I don't think you can think like that. Now, look, if you're trying to if you play scared, I think that's when you get hurt, right? But I don't know that if Lagway were totally healthy, that he'd be a guy that would run 15, 20 times a game. Because, again, you got a backfield that's loaded. So, no, Stephen, I don't think will he be cautious? Yes. But if they feel he's healthy and they think the quarterback run game is going to be important, I think they will certainly do it. All right, let's get to our Titan MRI and Imaging phone line. JD is there. Hey, JD.
Hey, Steve, regarding your question about the most important game, are you talking about the next 4 games, or are you talking about the entire
just
season?
The next entire season, to now, obviously.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you. Texas at home. And then right with that, I'd say Georgia, because those were the consensus top dogs. So I feel like you got to knock off at least one of them, hopefully both of them. But, yeah, the tough games on the road, it'd be great if you won one. But I think the Georgia and the Texas game are most important. Steve, I want to talk about this, and you know as well as I that the rankings mean nothing right now. In fact, they don't mean anything till the end of the year, really, till they get into the playoff thing and that kind of thing. But hopefully, people will take into account the disparity, the gross disparity in in the difficulty of schedule of a lot of these teams. And I'll use example Missouri. I mean, look at I don't know whether Missouri's some kind of favored child in here. I don't know how that happens. I mean, that's kind of a mystery, I guess. But then on the other hand, look at FSU's schedule. I mean, they've got 4. I think I'm just going off the top of my head. They've got Miami, Clemson, Florida, and I don't know who the fourth one would be, but arguably those games, the next 4 we play, are tougher than any on their schedule, and so hopefully these people take account of that when they start doing all this stuff. And maybe you've got an idea on the playoffs. Are they gonna use difficulty of schedule, or are they going to go
Yes.
by one loss?
Yes, strength of schedule will be a part of the equation. Yes.
Okay. Well, I know last year there was a lot of discussion about who got in, there were some SMU questions and all this, that, and the other. When you get into difficulty of schedule, you may have, in the Big Ten and the SEC, you may have 4 or 5 teams that probably, I'm just off the top of my head now, probably at the end of the year are going to be better than a let's just say a 2-loss. Let's just say FSU gets lucky, a 2-loss FSU team or a 2-loss Miami team. So that's going to be difficult. But anyway, just kind of rambling on, Steve.
Yeah, and
Texas and Georgia.
Okay, and I think this too. This scheduling is no different than the NCAA basketball tournament. How many times do we see when the committee announces, the teams, oh, that team shouldn't be in there, that team should be in there, right? Every year that happens.
Yep.
This year's going to be no exception. There's not enough spots, because you could make an argument that 20 teams could be in there and have a legitimate shot of going a long way in the tournament. So got to let it play out and see where it goes. But yes, strength of schedule. I think the committee understands the importance of that.
Yeah. Thanks, Steve.
Okay, JD. Thank you. Again, you want to give us a call, emails, lots of those coming up. We'll take a break and come back. And again, later in the show, the play-by-play voice of USF, Jim Lauk's going to join us. And that's coming up on Sports Scene as you listen on WRUF, powered by ESPN.
Cowboys-Eagles, NFL kickoff tonight after Gator Talk with Billy Napier, right here on WRUF.
We all expect quality in our service providers. The word itself means the degree of excellence of something. Now throw in the word plumbing after that, and it would mean the excellence of plumbing. And that's exactly what our community has been getting for 4 decades from the fine folks at Quality Plumbing. Now you can always spend time and money trying to fix things yourself, or you can call the professionals at Quality Plumbing and get it done right the first time. Quality Plumbing since 1984. Their name says it all. License number CFC 043073.
For over 2 decades, Miapa has been a staple in Alachua County. Start your day right at Miapa, where fast and affordable authentic cuisine awaits.
We're known for serving the best Cuban coffee.
Our secret is in every sip and every bite, bringing the flavor of our culture straight to your palate. Everyone is welcome at Miapa Latin Cafe. Visit us at one of our locations and let us take you on a journey full of flavor. Miapa Latin Cafe, where every bite is a taste of tradition.
You might know that State Farm agent Ruz Agra has great service. He's your good neighbor after all, but did you know that State Farm has surprisingly good rates too? Yep, that's right. Along with good neighbor service, State Farm agent Ruz Agra has surprisingly great rates for everyone in Gainesville and North Central Florida. So call State Farm agent Ruz Agra at 352-240-1779 for your surprisingly great rates today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
After you work out, you can feel worn out. Reach for core power and rise to a whole new level of recovery. Protein to build muscle. Electrolytes to help hydrate. The nutrition you need to power on. Champion your recovery with Core Power.
The best conversations happen with Los Landeros tequila, like this recent conversation between two Gator legends.
Coach, you know, it always impressed me how you beat Florida State to win the 1996 national championship.
And I was really impressed with your 06, 08, and 09 Gator teams.
And the way you coached Danny to the Heisman Trophy.
A lot like what you did with Tim Tebow.
To the Swamp and the Gators, with the best beverage served at Spur's Gridiron Grill. 100% agave Los Landeros tequila, aged in bourbon barrels for a smoother taste.
It's lunchtime and nobody does lunch like Pomodoro Cafe. From Italian dishes to subs and salads, and favorites like their gamberi salento, shrimp, fresh tomatoes, and zucchini sauteed in garlic and oil with penne pasta and Romano cheese.
This is Steve Russell sharing with you one of my favorite lunch spots, Pomodoro Cafe, located in the Spring Hill Publix complex on 39th Avenue near I-75. Enjoy Pomodoro Cafe today.
And don't forget, they cater online at pomodorocafe.com.
Every Gator football game all season long, right here on WRUF, 98.1 FM, 850 AM, and 103.7 HD2.
Play-by-play voice of USF, Jim Lauk, is going to join us at the bottom of the 1 o'clock hour, about an hour from now. But right now, we're going to talk about high school football as a big city rivalry game going to take place. Buchholz taking on Eastside, and Buchholz's coach, Mark Whitmore, now joining us. Mark, thank you for being here. I think this is a really, really good thing that we haven't talked very much when your teams come off a loss. That was the case last week. I looked at the competitive game, looked at the tape. What did you see?
Well, we had a 2-game stretch there where we were playing some pretty good football teams. Yeah. They were number 2 in 7A here in the state. Vero Beach was, and so we knew that they were going to be a lot to handle. But we put ourselves in position to win the game with a field goal inside of a minute and 20, and then just we couldn't close it out. They were able to march down and score, and these things happen. Then we actually had a chance with a last second heave there. So, we're in the game, played really well. Our offense is young. They're learning a lot each game. So you never want to lose, but if you do lose, you at least want to have some things that you see that are positive from a growth standpoint moving forward. And that's what we saw Friday night.
Mark, just from a score perspective, it looks like defensively you're playing well, are you?
Yes, we're playing good defense, which is something that we hang our hat on around here. We try to really control the line of scrimmage. That's something that we put a real high priority on. Our defensive line play is something that's been a hallmark, and we want to continue to do that. But our DBs are playing a high level of football, and so are our linebackers. So, our defense is really playing well. They're gelling together, and they, kind of got off to a little rocky start there in the first half, but we're able to pull it together and play extremely well down the stretch.
Buchholz football coach Mark Whitmore, our guest here as he joins us on the Titan MRI and Imaging phone line. City rivalry time. You got an Eastside team that came back from the dead last week and ended up beating Rickards. They're 2-0. What do you see with Coach Hoskins' team?
Very dangerous squad, talented. Obviously, they're fighters, or else they wouldn't have been able to do what they did last week. So, really important for us to play efficient football. Can't get drawn into the city rivalry emotional roller coaster, and I just need to get out there and play Bobcat football. It's going to be a packed house, and it's a great event for the boys. It's super exciting for them, and this is why you play and coach high school football.
No doubt, and I guess I would imagine practices this week don't need a whole lot of motivation when you're playing a city rival, right?
No, you definitely don't. Really, the onus is on the coaching staff to keep the kids focused, make sure that they're not, your emotions can play tricks on you. And so we just have to be steady and try to approach it as as any other game week. The more normal we can be, in my experience, the better off. The game is going to have enough emotion as it is, so we need to temper that a bit.
I want to end with this, Mark, and I hope I asked this correctly. I mean, since you've been back there, you've done a tremendous job in coaching the program, and there's tradition there, winning there. But each team every year is a little bit different. Its personality is different. But do the kids now sort of understand, hey, we have a legacy to uphold here? You don't want to put pressure on them, but do they understand that as they, play for the Bobcats?
There's no question, Steve, that's a big deal around here. Wearing the black and gold is a super duper, important aspect of just how we build culture. We know our history. We've been in the Final Four 10, 11 times in the last 50 years, so we're a team that knows that we have a legacy to uphold, and that's important to these kids. They want to be the 2025 variety that continues to play tough, hard-nosed, well-prepared Bobcat football.
Last thing, cliche question, but it's germane here. If you beat Eastside, what's got to go right for you?
Well, we need to make sure that in a high, kind of charged game that we keep our heads and we stay out of the penalty column. So, whether that's offsides, jumping on offense, and just playing. We don't need to get ahead of ourselves. Let's just move the chains and play good football. So, if there's anything that we need to focus on, it's that mental preparedness.
Behold, Eastside, Citizens Field coming up, week 3 for Coach Whitmore's team. Always appreciate you, Mark. Thanks for your time.
You better believe it, Steve. It's going to be a lot of fun, 7:30 Friday night.
You bet. Thank you, Mark. Done a good job over at Buholtz. All right. We come to you from the Gator Trim Light Studio, locally owned and operated right here in Gainesville. So we'll open up the phone lines again, 392-8255 for a minute. We have a guest coming up here in just a few minutes. Let's see. Wesley says, National League MVP if the season ended today, Ohtani or Soto? Ohtani. I mean, I was noticing this the other day, and I'm going to tell you how old school I am, okay? Back when I was a kid, hitting 300 was a big deal, right? If you look now at the starting lineups of almost every team, it's 230, 240, 220. I mean, it's amazing. But that's what the game's come to because of the power arms and because of the launch angles and all that. But look, Ohtani, pretty special, and I think he would get mine. Brian says, since we're on the topic of hypotheticals, would you rather have losses against LSU and Georgia or Miami and FSU, assuming we win the rest not mentioned? SEC weighs more for the playoffs, but pride of beating your in-state rivals matters in between the years. It doesn't matter in between the years, Brian. I think if you beat your SEC teams, it takes precedence. Yes, I'm totally with you. It does. I mean, you don't want to lose to Miami because you'll hear it. You don't want to lose to FSU because you'll hear it. But guess what? Winning an SEC game, especially ones you're mentioning like Georgia, that's more important, in my opinion, than winning those games are. BB says, agree with Texas, but the late home game against Tennessee could prove pivotal. Yes, it could. Then he also says, philosophical time. It seems that people are viewing LSU as the heir apparent to dominate in the SEC, chilled a bit on Texas and Georgia. Most do agree Alabama's having their own personal hell. But to me, the jury's still out. Texas possibly bounces back. You can never count Kirby Smart out. What are your thoughts? I think what's happened is, look, Texas had a great year last year. Georgia had a phenomenal year last year. It just wasn't quite as good as Texas's was. So I think if you're dismissing Georgia, do so at your own peril, right? But some think they've plateaued, that, you know, when they rose under Kirby Smart, got there, now they're slowly descending. We'll see. And I don't buy LSU being the heir apparent either. Look, give them all the credit in the world for beating Clemson. That's a tough place to play, and they came back and won the game. But I'm not convinced. Is Clemson an elite offensive team? I don't know. Klubnik wasn't great the other night. LSU scored 17 against an ACC team. I think Clemson's good on defense, but, what happens when they get in the league? That's why this test against Florida, I think, is going to tell a lot. The pressure's on them. They got to hold home court. And if they don't, that's a huge loss for them as much as it is a huge win for Florida. Let's see here. Jay, I don't know which one's most important out of LSU, Texas, or the Puppy Dogs. We can win one of those three, go 9-3, believe we're in the playoffs. I think certainly they're in the hunt. I agree with you. Question for me, if you're to pick one stat, if you beat the other team means you're going to win, time of possession, turnovers, rushing yards, etc., what would it be? Oh, boy. I think it just depends on the game, Jay. If you're playing a team that's a high-scoring offensive team, you're able to keep the football away from that offense and score points, then time of possession, I think, is a big deal. Turnovers, though, that's always big. I mean, if you have 0 turnovers, you got a pretty good chance to win. The rushing yards, I'm not sold on that because you can throw for 300 and rush for 100 and win the game because you're throwing the ball well. If you throw 5 touchdown passes, rushing the football at that point, not a big deal. So that would be my answer to that. Again, some YouTube questions brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. Art says he'll guess $22.5 million. It was $80 million. Joe, you have to win all your home games in Georgia. Okay. Neo says $58 million. He was closer. If you have losses to USF, then forget it. I'll be turning to basketball then. Eddie says good chance the Gators are 2-2 going into the Texas game. Makes this home game extremely important as you set up the rest of the season. Yeah, a lot of good stuff there. Coming up, it's always a pleasure for me to bring back alums. And Taylor Burr, a pretty recent graduate here, left here, was the sports director. Was the weekend sports anchor at TV 20. She's now at Fox 4 in Kansas City. Going to get her on to talk about the Chiefs and the Royals and Cags and all that coming up next as you listen to Sports Scene on WRUF, powered by ESPN.
WRUF Sports Center.
I'm Nick Abreu. Florida soccer gets going tonight against Florida Gulf Coast after a 3-1 win over Maryland on Sunday. With only 2 games left before the start of conference play, Bohan's squad will look to get into form. Kickoff at 7 p.m. Florida football has an in-state matchup against USF this weekend. The Bulls had just as hot of a week 1 as the Gators, taking down Boise State 34-7. Coach Billy Napier was impressed with their defensive performance in that game.
Well, they pursue. I think they play with effort. I think that they're sticky in coverage. I think the gap integrity is good. And I think they do a nice job tackling. So,
USF linebacker Jalen Schuler had 14 tackles in the game, good enough for National Defensive Player of the Week by Bronco Nagurski and Walter Camp Awards. Kickoff is set for Saturday at 4:15.
It's lunchtime and nobody does lunch like Pomodoro Cafe. From Italian dishes to subs and salads, and favorites like their meatball sub with fries or onion rings, topped with the house sauce and lots of melted mozzarella.
This is Steve Russell sharing with you one of my favorite lunch spots, Pomodoro Cafe, located in the Spring Hill Publix complex on 39th Avenue near I-75. Enjoy Pomodoro Cafe today.
And don't forget, they cater online at pomodorocafe.com.
Silverback Concrete is a family-led team of heavy concrete specialists that builds commercial structures for contractors who expect unrivaled quality, including the head ball coach's restaurant, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. You only have one chance to make a building that holds up to the highest standards through all kinds of weather. Visit silverbackconcrete.co to see why they're the #1 choice in the Southeast. You stand on it, we stand by it. Silverback Concrete's got your back.
Transform your home with Gator Trim Lights. Professionally installed, permanent outdoor lighting that disappears by day and dazzles by night. Our patented color-matched channel blends seamlessly with your roofline. No clips, no wires, just a clean, custom look. Use the Easy app to light up the holidays, birthdays, game days, any day. Energy efficient, built to last, and backed by a lifetime product warranty. Schedule your free estimate today at GatorTrimLight.com.
Friends, if somebody's been in business for 45 plus years, doesn't that tell you something? Trust, longevity. Well, that is the case with my friends at Southeast Car Agency in Gainesville. The Cousins family has operated that business for the past 45 plus years, and they specialize in just one thing. They give you the best alternative you have to purchasing a new vehicle, the best in late model, low mileage vehicles. Great variety, great selection. I'm driving one now, have been for years. Go see them today, Southeast Car Agency, 310 Northeast 39th Avenue, Gainesville.
At Comfort Temp Heating and Air, we're proud to celebrate 40 years as your #1 local HVAC company. We offer energy-efficient solutions featuring quality products from Lennox. Whether it's new installation, system repairs, or routine maintenance, we promise to never sell you anything you don't need. Our professional and experienced technicians provide reliable service you can trust and will keep you informed throughout the entire process. At Comfort Temp, comfort is our business. Peace of mind is our promise.
The Hard Rock Bet Party's just getting started, and you're on the list. Hey, it's Steve Russell. Place your first $5 bet on Hard Rock Bet, and if it wins, you get $150 in bonus bets. That's extra firepower to kick off football season. Don't just watch the action from the sidelines. Get in the game on Hard Rock Bet today. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
From the UF Weather Center, here is your WRUF weather update.
Sunshine and much warmer today. Look for a high of 93 degrees this afternoon. Humidity still held in check, so that's why I'm not really going to throw in some afternoon showers. 72 for the overnight low tonight. Tomorrow, though, different story. A little bit more humidity in the air. 93. We'll have that heat index back up to about 96, and we'll feel a little on the stuffy side. From the WUFT Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Tim Miller.
This is Sean Kelly, voice of the Gators, and you're listening to the home of Gators football, right here on WRUF 98.1 FM, 850 AM. Now, more of Sports Scene with Steve Russell.
National Football League cranks up tonight. We've got Eagles and Cowboys for you right here. If you don't watch it, make sure and listen to it. We continue with Sports Scene coming to you from the Gator Trim Light Studio. And our show, as always, powered by our friends at Southeast Car Agency in Gainesville, 310 Northeast 39th Avenue for the best in late model, low mileage vehicles. Go to the place that's been doing it for 45 years, Southeast Car Agency, and tell them Sports Scene sent you. Always a pleasure to have alums back, especially ones that I had the pleasure of helping along here in their careers. Taylor Burr left here, was the weekend sports anchor at TV 20 locally. Now she's at Fox 4 in Kansas City, and she's going to join us here now. Taylor, welcome. I know you've been running around busy covering the Chiefs and the Royals and all that, but thanks for taking time.
Hey, Steve. Thanks for having me. Yeah, it's been busy here in Kansas City. We got like 4 professional teams in season right now, but it's been great.
Yeah. Let me ask this. I think when the Chiefs being on the run that they have made, you know, when you're not in Kansas City and you're following them from afar, you know, you think, okay, what's it like? What have you seen as far as Chiefs fans and what the buzz is in Kansas City surrounding the Chiefs?
Well, that's a really great point because obviously being in Gainesville, you only hear about the Chiefs, you know, from so far away. And now that you're here, you know, it's a complete different mindset. They have a really high standard, and that's a Super Bowl win. And I think, you know, last year losing to the Eagles left a bad taste in their mouths, you know, exposed them a lot, especially on the O-line. So the mentality this year is a Super Bowl or it's, you know, I don't want to say a failure of a season, but that's the expectation here in Kansas City.
When you look at the roster there's no complete roster in the NFL, but when you have a quarterback like Mahomes, if Kelsey bounces back, as you look at their roster, though, Taylor, so maybe some questions on the offensive line and at running back. Is this team, in your view, Super Bowl potential given the roster?
I think so. And I know that's bold to say because obviously their season starts tomorrow and we won't actually know. You can only tell so much in the preseason game. But like I said, the O-line was their biggest downfall last year. And, they signed Jalen Moore, brought back guard Trey Smith, and they drafted Josh Simmons in the first round. And I honestly think he was the steal of the draft. I got to see him during training camp. He's dominant, physical, and he's got that mentality that you would want in that guy. And I think with the O-line, if they can protect Mahomes, that opens the deep ball threat and it, expands their offense even more because they were a little limited last year because of that. So, yeah, I think they'll be really good this year.
Let me turn to the Royals and Jack Caglione. I mean, obviously, he put up terrific numbers, got called up. Let's start with that. What was the fan reaction, Taylor, when Cags first got called up?
I think it would be, the same as Florida. As young people would say, he's got that aura about him. People know what he can do. They saw what he did at Florida. So there was an excitement. I remember his first game at the K, I think he got a standing ovation. Every seat was sold out. People are really excited for him, brings possibility and, high hopes for the season in the future for the Royals. Obviously, his first stint in the majors was a bit rough, and then in July, he had the hamstring injury, but I will say he's back now, and I think, he's more confident in himself. So, if not this year, next year, I think we'll see big things from him.
When you look at the Royals, they were a playoff team a year ago, and they're in the hunt to be a playoff team now. Do you think in the stretch run they have enough to make a run to make the playoffs again?
I'm going to say, I don't want to say no, but, it's been kind of the same story, at least when I got here in May, that the offense has had issues. It's been kind of their Achilles heel. The bullpen was great, but the offense just couldn't produce. Now they've kind of started to fix that up. There have been some injuries down the line, but in June, they only won 8 games and they lost 18.
Yeah.
So they dug themselves a hole a little bit. And now every game kind of feels like a must-win game. I will say, though, in the clubhouse, they all have still strong mentalities that they want to make the playoffs. That is the goal. They're all extremely motivated. So I don't want to say no. There's always a possibility. There's, I think, 2 games out of the wild card race. So anything can happen, but they really need to, I guess, lock in on offense and, get their bullpen figured out a little bit more.
Taylor Burr joining us, Fox 4 in Kansas City, former weekend sports anchor here at TV20, and, of course, a graduate of our journalism college here. Tell somebody listening, because when you hear Kansas City, right, it's a, quote, pro town, which it is. What's the college football buzz there, if any, in Kansas City? Who are some of the schools that that some people there look at?
So the big schools here is obviously KU, Kansas, and then we have 2 hours away in Columbia, Mizzou, Missouri. So I would say those are the 2 biggest schools, and also K-State, which is down the street. But the rivalry is insane. I think coming up, actually this Saturday, KU plays Missouri, so I think fans are looking forward for that one. Yeah. But definitely pro teams here. It's not like Gainesville.
No, but that's another reason I kind of wanted to have you on, because KU is playing Missouri, and that used to be, a really big rival. For folks who don't understand the business, let me ask this question, though, as I leave here. Are you having fun? It's a big adjustment going from a Gainesville to a Kansas City, but it sounds like you've adjusted well. How's it been for you working there so far?
I love it. I will always say I love Gainesville. Obviously, there's nothing better than covering, the Gators as a Gator. But I will say, coming to Kansas City, obviously some learning curves, but I feel like I've grown so much, not only in my career, but as a person, and learned from some of the best in the industry here. Getting to cover 4 professional teams has just, it's been amazing. And Kansas City itself is such a sports city. and you can feel the passion from the fans, which I absolutely love. So It's been amazing.
It's great. Well, thank you. I know how busy you have been, and believe me, ladies and gentlemen, she has been busy since getting there, but she's loving it, and obviously we're proud of her here. I'm very proud of her, and we'll continue to stay in touch. And Taylor, thank you, and we'll talk soon. Appreciate you.
Yes, for sure.
Thanks, Taylor. All right, done a great job. Taylor Burr, Fox 4 in Kansas City, one of our grads, and she has done a really good job. And again, all of our guests brought to you by Meldon Law. Won't back down. Hour 2, we will certainly take your questions, calls, and comments. The play-by-play voice of USF, Jim Lapp's going to join us at about 1:30 today, give you a little more info on the USF team from his perspective. Don't forget, tomorrow it'll be Prognostication Friday, your chance to pick some games here. There aren't a lot of them that are big-time games, but we'll pick the ones that are, and I'm anxious to see your thoughts on the Gators. And you know what? I don't think anybody is going to pick Florida to lose. I just don't see that. But I am interested to see point spread, you know, what you all see in terms of that. We'll find that out tomorrow. And I want to make sure to thank Quality Plumbing for being a first-hour sponsor of the program. Quality Plumbing, their name says it all. Join us next hour. We will take your calls, questions, comments, emails, and again, Facebook Live questions. Ruse Ogra, State Farm brings you those. YouTube questions, Campus USA brings you those. Stay tuned for Hour 2 of Sports Scene on WRUF, powered by ESPN.
What's stronger?
A Gator Chomp
or our coverage of Gator Nation?
Stay on top of the Florida Gators all season.
WRUF 98.1 FM, 850 AM, and 103.7 HD2. Keeping you connected to Gator Nation. ESPN Gainesville is WRUF.
Spurrier's Gridiron Grill is a special type of place for Gator fans and fans of great food, which is why we made every day special. Join us on Martini Tuesdays for half off our handcrafted martinis and wine Wednesdays, where you can enjoy a bottle of wine for 50% off. On Old Fashioned Thursdays, indulge in our selection of 8 classic old-fashioned cocktails. And of course, don't forget Sunday brunch. And now you can look special in some of our great merchandise, available at the restaurant or online at Spurriers.com. Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, the hottest restaurant in Florida in the heart of Gator Nation.
Hi, I'm Coach Steve Spurrier, and I am a member of the Campus USA Credit Union. The Gator Nation has been counting on Campus USA Credit Union for over 80 years. Campus supports the Gators and our community. Campus membership is open to all UF students, faculty, staff, and alumni. Come see why over 100,000 members like me count on Campus USA Credit Union. So put some star power to work in your financial life. Visit campuscu.com and join today.
For over 2 decades, Miapa has been a staple in Alachua County. Start your day right at Miapa, where fast and affordable authentic cuisine awaits.
We're known for serving the best Cuban coffee.
Our secret is in every sip and every bite, bringing the flavor of our culture straight to your palate. Everyone is welcome at Miapa Latin Cafe. Visit us at one of our locations and let us take you on a journey full of flavor. Miapa Latin Cafe, where every bite is a taste of tradition.
Transform your home with Gator Trim Lights. Professionally installed, permanent outdoor lighting that disappears by day and dazzles by night. Our patented color match channel blends seamlessly with your roof line. No clips, no wires, just a clean, custom look. Use the easy app to light up the holidays, birthdays, game days, any day. Energy efficient, built to last, and backed by a lifetime product warranty. Schedule your free estimate today at GatorTrimLight.com.
At Comfort Temp Heating and Air, we're proud to celebrate 40 years as your #1 local HVAC company. We offer energy-efficient solutions featuring quality products from Lennox. Whether it's new installation, system repairs, or routine maintenance, we promise to never sell you anything you don't need. Our professional and experienced technicians provide reliable service you can trust and will keep you informed throughout the entire process. At Comfort Temp, comfort is our business. Peace of mind is our promise.
Quality Green Specialist has the plants, products, and friendly expert advice to keep your garden healthy and bountiful. Quality Green has thousands of plants, trees, flowers, herbs, vegetables, and more. Plus, high-quality organic-based fertilizers, products, even comprehensive soil testing. Visit D-Land's beautiful nursery and fine fertilizer store. Conveniently open 9 to 4 daily. Located at 335 West Michigan Avenue. QualityGreenSpecialist.com. Top quality plants, sustainable gardening products, friendly expert advice.
He's back! The godfather of Gator Sports Talk Radio has returned.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
It's Sports Scene with Steve Russell. Time to eat some lunch and talk some Gator sports.
Sports Scene with Steve Russell is presented by International Diamond Center and brought to you in part by
Meldon Law, Gator Trim Lights, Fairlife Mills, Titan MRI Imaging, QC Kinetics, Ruse Ogra State Farm, Quality Plumbing, Campus USA Credit Union, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill.
Now, here's Steve Russell right here on WRUF.
Welcome into Hour 2 of Sports Scene for this Thursday. I'm Steve Russell. Thank you for making us part of your day. Always a pleasure when you join in. Jessica is our producer as we come to you from the Gator Trim Light Studio. Remember, you can show your Gator pride by turning your home orange and blue on game days with Gator Trim Light. And we are powered by Southeast Car Agency in Gainesville, 310 Northeast 39th Avenue. Go see the Cousins family for the best in late model, low mileage vehicles. They've been doing it for 45 years. I'm driving one now. Tell them Sports Scene sent you. They're really good people. Bottom of the hour, Jim Lauk, the play-by-play voice of USF, is going to join us. In the meantime, we will get your questions and comments. Let me ask this here, because I'm going to get an email that I got from Mike. And I want to see if anybody agrees with him. He says, Chuck Oliver on his show said he heard Florida's going to have a $1 billion upgrade with more skyboxes. It's more catering to the 1% and pricing the common person out of going to a game. It's why Strickland was booed at the orange and blue game. So let me ask this. Do anybody share that view? Look, it is harder for somebody to go to a game. No question. It's harder to go to a Braves game or a Rays game or whatever. It's harder because you have to continue to raise money. That's just what you have to do. And I don't know that there's another way you can get around that. But we'll see. Don't forget, the NFL returns to WRUF tonight. Cowboys, Eagles at 8. Tomorrow, Chiefs, Chargers, like Taylor mentioned. That'll be at 7:30. Sunday, Bucks, Falcons at noon. So a lot of NFL coming your way. All right, let's open the Titan MRI Imaging phone line, 392-8255. You got an email. That's the International Diamond Center email, the official jeweler of the Florida Gators, srussell@wruf.com. So, and of course, all our guests, courtesy of Meldon Law, won't back down. And want to thank Quality Plumbing for being a sponsor of the show as well. Quality Plumbing, their name says it all. We appreciate all of our sponsors who are here. And don't forget to advertise on the show. You can contact Freddie, 352-284-3733. And this has become, the way the world is now with Facebook and YouTube and all that. You can check out our daily clip of the day on WRUF, Facebook and YouTube, at WRUF Home of the Gators, brought to you by our friends at Fairlife Milk. All right, let's go to the phones. Byron's there. Hey, Byron.
Hey, Steve. I'm old school Steve. That's why I like to call the dean up. And Steve, congratulations always, man, for what you do for the community. And us, we love you, man. Let me get going. First, your question, Steve. I think Greg and the person after really answered it. But, Steve, as a coach, if they're the Gators, they better be worried about South Florida. Athletes like myself, and we never look ahead. I didn't. I never was on a team that good. But I would think definitely LSU because the confidence, as they said, and that'll get you going in the momentum. So that one, and Steve, real quick, NFL, you remember when Trevor and I think Justin Fields, I followed the Jets, Steve, because of you, and I kind of like Justin a little bit. I like all those quarterbacks do good, especially Gators, and the ones like the Tennessee quarterback, even maybe let's put Tua and them in there. But who do you think Jacksonville quarterback? Which of those ones are under the most pressure? Are they all, or what do you think about their career, and which one of them better show up this year? Their career is over. Out of that class of quarterbacks?
None. I can answer that question right now. The question you asked, their career is over. That's not going to happen. That won't happen. But I think if you look at where Trevor Lawrence was drafted and what the expectation was for him, he has not reached that for whatever the reason. I think people forget this. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs have won Super Bowls kind of like the New England Patriots did. Think about the Patriots teams. Besides Tom Brady, how many Patriot players are in the Hall of Fame?
That's a good question,
right?
Steve.
Not a lot. So Bill Belichick had a lot to do with that, obviously. They had Randy Moss but Randy Moss wasn't with the Patriots for a long time.
Yeah, he was.
So part of that, of a success of a player, is who's around you, right? And but when you're drafted where Lawrence was, you're expected to be the franchise guy, and he has not been. So I think to answer your question, probably more pressure on him because of that, where he was drafted, et cetera.
Yeah, and like I say, good luck to him and Justin Fields. He's been flopped around. I think both of those guys can do it with the right people. And Steve, I tell you, I heard you and Taylor, man, Kansas City. Oh man, you got a great job, but God bless her. She's in the best place, and that organization, man. I don't need to tell you about their coach and how they run that, man. If you want to play for a real professional organization, go there. Last, Steve, speaking of coaching, Florida with Tua and the coach at Miami. And I'm going to do the opposite with who's on the hot seat coaching. Todd Bowles might be with Liam gone, but in the pros, like Dallas, how can you win with the team Jerry left you with? But, Steve, if you had to pick a coach in the NFL or two, who's on the hot seat there? Thank you for taking my call, Steve.
Okay.
I got to end it with go Gators!
Myron, thank you. It's interesting. Todd Bowles is not, because they've won division titles the last couple of years. They've been in the playoffs. So unless a team just tanks, unless a team just, is terrible, that's not going to happen. It's a really odd year. I think Miami, their coach there, I think has a little pressure on him to get back to the playoffs. Indy, I think Steichen has pressure on him to get back to the playoffs. Other than that, I don't really see where, because of new coaches and all that, I think those would be the two that would come to mind right away. James, welcome to the show.
Hey, Steve. Hey, you're talking a little, finances and college sports today.
Sure.
So, question for you, just to kind of refresh the history of how big schools pay little schools to come play them. When did that start, and why did it start?
Top of my head, I can't answer that specifically, but it's been done for a very long time, and it's done for two reasons. One is you have to have other games besides your league games, obviously, and sometimes it was difficult to get, you want to have a schedule. You don't want to play a top 20 team every week. Mm-hmm. You'd never win, right? So you go out and you do your schedule. Okay, the league gives you a schedule, And now, with more emphasis on strength of schedule and the league saying now you got to play at least one Power 4 team outside of the SEC, well, okay, then you got to figure that out. But then you want to get a school that is going to, look, on paper, you're going to beat, and then it's also a financial payday for them. You got to pay the school to come down here and play. So,
but I guess the negotiation power kind of came to those small schools because they said, "Oh, well, you got to fill your schedule." It's gotten. Obviously, college sports just in general, the budget is more. But what did LIU get to come here? Do you know?
I do not know, and I did know the answer to that, and I forget it now. But remember, that was a case of FAMU canceling, so then they got them late. And I don't think
it's a bad thing by any means.
No.
I'm just curious about the history of it. And then now, does USF get money for coming here?
I believe the answer is yes, but don't hold me to that.
Okay, but it would be significantly less than something like they would pay LIU.
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
Scott Strickland would.
Yeah. Does that happen for like a 3-game series in baseball? If LIU came down for baseball?
No, I don't believe that's the case in baseball. In other words, if you schedule a team, I don't think Florida's paying that team to come here. I don't think.
A northern school just wants some nice weather to come play in, and they're going to do it for just
Yes. Okay. Now, if somebody's listening that can, if I need to be corrected, please do. But I think that's the case.
Yeah. I think it's a pretty interesting topic because obviously, especially going to 9 games, a lot of this opportunity for those smaller schools to get that big payday is going to go away.
I don't think it will. I don't think it will. No, because I still think it may not be as many games, right? In past years, you might have seen a couple of games on the schedule like that. But now, if I'm going to schedule, right, you already have the league, you already have FSU, and you're already mandated to play, somebody else besides the SEC schedule that's good. So where do you go for that? Could you go to a let's not use an LIU. Could you play a Tulane? Could you play somebody like that? Sure, you could. But
I guess the ticket for the FBS school is better than an FCS school. And is that why they raised the fee from application from an FCS? It was $5,000, and it went to $5 million to move from SCS to FBS. Did you talk about that at all? I think that's crazy.
I believe I'm just getting a text here from a buddy of mine. He says that Florida paid LIU $525,000 and USF $500,000.
Oh wow! So pretty even. Okay.
Yeah. Now this was, remember, USF. I think I'm right in this. That was a 2-for-1 contract that they signed, if you recall.
Right.
Right.
When we played down in
Tampa.
Yeah, we played down there. Yeah.
In 21 and the 22 game here.
Andy Richardson's first season. Yeah.
So.
Yep. Okay. Thanks.
Okay.
I just
All
think
right.
it's interesting.
Yep.
Right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yep. So see, thank you for the text. And I was just about 99% sure they paid them something, but just didn't know exactly what that amount is. All right. Let's get to Pat here. Pat, welcome.
Hey, Steve. Wanted to comment on the Skybox and the 1%er, but before I did that, I left you a message the other day I don't know if you got it, but I am so happy that you are back on the air. I'm actually paying attention to who your sponsors are. That is how happy I am.
I appreciate that, and the sponsors do too. Thank you.
The person that commented on the Skyboxes, if that person thinks that the non-Skybox ticket holders will be paying for the construction of the Skyboxes, I find that hard to believe. And I could understand if the person is saying that it'd be better, or they would appreciate it if they used the money to build more non-Skybox seats and then keep the ticket prices lower for the non-Skybox seats. But I don't know how they could do that. The last time I was in the top non-skybox seats at the stadium, I got vertigo because it was so steep. I just don't know how they could do any more non-skybox seats. But if you think they can, or if you know if there are plans for that, I'd appreciate hearing it.
Oh,
Thanks, Steve.
you will hear it. Yep, thank you. When Scott Strickland was here the other day, I asked him, and he said those plans were ongoing. He did not get specific as to what was being done. Roger, hang in there. I'll get right to you. Don't forget the play-by-play voice of USF, Jim Lauk, joins us bottom of the hour as you listen to Sports Scene on WRUF, powered by ESPN.
WRUF Sports Center.
I'm Nick Abreu. Gators football, only 2 days left until those guys are back in the swamp for week 2. They're up against a USF team that looked good week 1 and has a chance to cause some problems for Florida. Bulls quarterback Byron Brown was a bright spot in week 1.
I do think this quarterback runs the ball well. I think there's a little bit more read game, a little more quarterback run element to it, but still vertical, still tempo, still perimeter screen, and then a good healthy run game. When you got a light box, you got to be able to handle that. So it's
Brown threw for 210 yards and 43 yards on the ground, including 2 touchdowns. Florida soccer gets going tonight against Florida Gulf Coast after a 3-1 win over Maryland on Sunday. With only 2 games left before the start of conference play, Bohan's squad will look to get into form. Kickoff at 7 p.m.
Transform your home with Gator Trim Lights. Professionally installed, permanent outdoor lighting that disappears by day and dazzles by night. Our patented color match channel blends seamlessly with your roofline. No clips, no wires, just a clean, custom look. Use the easy app to light up the holidays, birthdays, game days, any day. Energy efficient, built to last, and backed by a lifetime product warranty. Schedule your free estimate today at GatorTrimLight.com.
Hey folks, it's Steve Russell for my friends at Southeast Car Agency in Gainesville, 310 Northeast 39th Avenue. They've been in business for over 45 years. That in itself says a whole lot. Take a look around you when you drive. Take a look at the car in front of you, alongside of you. There's a really good chance it'll have a Southeast Car Agency tag, just like my vehicle does, and many vehicles before that have as well. When you go see them in person, make sure and tell them Sports Scene sent you to the good people at Southeast Car Agency, 310 Northeast 39th Avenue, Gainesville.
It's no fun being injured. The last thing you want to deal with is long wait times or high costs. Well, guess what? You don't have to, thanks to Titan MRI and Imaging. The experience at Titan MRI and Imaging is much more personal than the sterile atmosphere of a hospital. Joe and his team are personally involved and will guide you through the entire process at any of their 3 convenient locations. And they accept insurance. So if you need a scan, save time and money, and call Titan MRI and Imaging. Learn more at TitanMRI.com.
When the unexpected happens, you need a legal team that's ready to fight for you, just like the Florida Gators. At Meldon Law, we're proud to partner with the Florida Gators to deliver winning results for those who have been injured at no fault of their own. With a strong record of success and a team that won't back down, Meldon Law is your trusted partner in tough times. Call Meldon Law at 352-373-8000 or visit us at meldonlaw.com.
Hi, I'm Coach Steve Spurrier, and I am a member of the Campus USA Credit Union. The Gator Nation has been counting on Campus USA Credit Union for over 80 years. Campus supports the Gators and our community. Campus membership is open to all UF students, faculty, staff, and alumni. Come see why over 100,000 members, like me, count on Campus USA Credit Union. So put some star power to work in your financial life. Visit campuscu.com and join today.
The most important thing I learned from my father was work ethic and integrity. Never veer away from integrity, even if it costs you money.
International Diamond Center owner Keith LeClaire.
The core value for IDC is to protect the customer.
That means offering the largest selection, uncompromising quality, the strongest warranties, and honest guidance from experts who are not paid on commission. International Diamond Center at Celebration Point. Online, shopidc.com.
This football season, Hurricane BTW was your game day getaway. Catch every play with an ice-cold Bud Light in hand. Pair it with fan favorites like our wings and apps while you catch every touchdown, tackle, and highlight. Our Bud Light specials are here all season long on Hurricane BTW, so bring the crew and make it a game day tradition. Visit hurricanewings.com to find a restaurant near you.
You're listening to Sports Scene with Steve Russell, right here on WRUF, 98.1 FM, 850 AM, and 103.7 HD2.
Welcome back to Sports Scene. Don't forget tomorrow, Prognostication Friday, your chance to pick some of the bigger games of the weekend in college football. And don't forget the NFL here tonight. Cowboys, Eagles, we have it for you at 8 o'clock. Titan MRI and Imaging phone line to Roger. Roger, hello.
Hey, Steve, I'm glad that you're back on the air. But, in that discussion about, why teams like LIU get paid to come, because, historically we've had, when you have home and home, like with FSU, they keep their revenues, we keep our revenues,
correct.
And it evens out. It seems like LIU, there's no home and home. So they don't get any revenue when we visit them because we don't visit them. So they need to be paid. I mean, they have substantial costs in getting all their players and equipment and coaches and other personnel down to Gainesville. And, we can't expect them to do that for free.
No, of course not. I mean, what you're saying is true, but I mean, that's been like that forever.
Yeah. So, like when we play LSU, they keep their money, we keep our money.
Yep.
Back and forth. Or at least that's the way it used to be. I don't know if it's still like that, but because, lots of things have changed over time.
Yeah, I got way more things to worry about than that. But, I mean, the way, paying a team to come in here not in the SEC or, not at Florida State. Now, I don't know what the deal is with Miami, right? But I would imagine because, again, depending on where it is and where the place is, is it a neutral site, those types of things. But, in general, teams like LIU get paid, done.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
no.
To the extent that they wind up with a little surplus, it helps their athletic budget. And I think, don't they have another game this weekend that's sort of similar?
LIU?
Kind of a one-off.
LIU, you mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't looked.
I think they do. Now, I don't know what our deal is with South Florida or teams like that because we don't necessarily have, a home and home.
No, there was a payment. They got money too, but it was a 2-for-1 deal.
Oh, okay.
But again, okay. I just want to move off this because it's not.
Yeah.
I
know it's just part of the business.
It is.
Not
all right.
The sport.
Thank you, Roger. Appreciate your call. Tennessee Mike, hello.
Hey, Steve. Happy NFL Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Steve. I can't figure out what's better, your back or the NFL's back.
Well, how about both are good? I hope. So let's do that.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Steve, okay, a little SEC chatter, and I do want to ask you about how you see the AFC East real quick.
Okay.
Steve, I believe one of Coach Spurrier's many great sayings is every week there's a winner and a loser. I think I heard there are 136 FBS teams this year. Divided by 2, that means there are 68 losers every week. Coming out of week 1, Steve, around the SEC, there seems to be 2 teams of fans grumbling. Alabama, of course, and there's some grumbling around Kentucky fans too, Steve. Zach Calzada didn't really impress too much in week 1 if you check his stat line. This week here, Steve, looks like a lot of cakewalks outside of that Ole Miss Kentucky game, but I guess my first observation is, I assume you'll agree with me, is you can't go through a whole season with 14 fan bases being happy in a 16-team league, can you?
Of course not.
I think there's one of these kind of regional guys, maybe out of Alabama, does one of these misery index things that kind of gets picked up by papers. Pretty much it's going to get down to probably eight fan bases happy and 8 fan bases not so happy once we get into week 3 or 4, right?
It depends what you mean by happy.
Yeah.
And what is that? What is that level? If Alabama goes 8-4, for a lot of schools, fans would be happy. Not at Alabama.
I guess what I'm kind of struck with how happy all the fans are around the SEC, but as you know, it won't last long. Second thing for you, Steve, two coaches that I'm very interested to see as the season progresses in league are Jeff Lebby at Mississippi State, thought to be a very bright light in the profession. I think it's a very innovative hire coming off Mike Leach, and Venables at Oklahoma. Steve, the Mateer guy's getting good reviews. I want to see if Venables can coach with a quarterback, defensive-minded coach. I want to see if that guy's any good or just a complete whiff hire.
I think it's going to be a great hire. I think it's a great hire. That combination of that quarterback and that coordinator were really good at Washington State. I think Venables understands that he has a good offensive guy there, and from what I'm seeing, he's letting him run with the offense, and Venables is going to deal with the defense, and I think they're going to be a much improved team.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's on the hot seat, though. And last thing for you, Steve, AFC East as a Jets fan, I'm amazed at how much love the Patriots are getting. I've always wondered where's the beef when it comes to Vrabel, but I'm also pretty surprised to see the Dolphins pick dead last in the AFC East, considering the money they threw at Tua and Ramsey and Tyreek Hill, and the list goes on and on. How do you see the AFC East shaking out this year, and enjoy tonight's game?
All right, it'll be Buffalo, Miami, New England, and the Jets in that order. I think the Jets finish last. I don't think they're not unless they throw the football better than what I think they're going to throw it. They're going to rely on running the ball. They already have an offensive lineman hurt. So I just don't see the Jets, unless Justin Fields does some things, and unless they get a second receiver to go with Wilson, it's going to be a tough year. Let's see. Peyton says, does the annual FSU game not fulfill the Power Four? Yeah, it does. I'm just saying the rest of the league, that the mandate for the rest of the league is that. Certainly it does, without question. Yes. Jim says, I think the average person is priced out of every major sport of every kind. Season tickets for the NFL, NBA, and the MLB are all out of reach for the average family. Same for college football, just the way it is. If there weren't a significant demand for tickets, things might be different. If teams can get higher prices, who can blame them for it? Now, could the more expensive seats perhaps subsidize some less expensive seats? Maybe, but most programs need every penny than they can get. And that's true because of what you have with NIL now. Richard says, like the coverage from all angles, UF, local high schools, professional teams, excellent balance of men's and women's games. And I hear you, Richard, on the other thing, so we'll figure that out. Daryl says he thinks LSU, that I mentioned earlier about what game on the schedule is the biggest one to win. He says LSU, but he also says it's time to beat Georgia. Coming back, play-by-play voice of USF, Jim Lauk, is going to join us here on the Titan MRI phone line. All of our guests, courtesy of Meldon Law. As you listen to Sports Scene on WRUF, powered by ESPN.
You're home for Thursday Night Football all season long, right here on WRUF 98.1 FM, 850 AM, and 103.7 HD2.
It's football season, touchdowns and celebrations, and unfortunately, injuries. If you're injured, call Titan MRI and Imaging. No need to deal with long wait times and high costs to get your scans done. Titan MRI and Imaging will save you time and money. And the experience at Titan MRI and Imaging, much more personal than the sterile atmosphere of a hospital. Joe and his team are personally involved and will guide you through the entire process at any of their 3 convenient locations. So if you need a scan, call Titan MRI and Imaging. Learn more at TitanMRI.com.
We all expect quality in our service providers. The word itself means the degree of excellence of something. Now throw in the word plumbing after that, and it would mean the excellence of plumbing. And that's exactly what our community has been getting for 4 decades from the fine folks at Quality Plumbing. Now you can always spend time and money trying to fix things yourself, or you can call the professionals at Quality Plumbing and get it done right the first time. Quality Plumbing since 1984. Their name says it all. License number CFC 043073.
For over 2 decades, Miapa has been a staple in Alachua County. Start your day right at Miapa, where fast and affordable authentic cuisine awaits.
We're known for serving the best Cuban coffee.
Our secret is in every sip and every bite, bringing the flavor of our culture straight to your palate. Everyone is welcome at Miapa Latin Cafe. Visit us at one of our locations and let us take you on a journey full of flavor. Mi Papá Latin Cafe, where every bite is a taste of tradition.
You might know that State Farm agent Ruz Agra has great service. He's your good neighbor after all, but did you know that State Farm has surprisingly good rates too? Yep, that's right. Along with good neighbor service, State Farm agent Ruz Agra has surprisingly great rates for everyone in Gainesville and North Central Florida. So call State Farm agent Ruz Agra at 352-240-1779 for your surprisingly great rates today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
After you work out, you can feel worn out. Reach for Core Power and rise to a whole new level of recovery. Protein to build muscle. Electrolytes to help hydrate. The nutrition you need to power on. Champion your recovery with Core Power.
Make your garden come alive with Quality Green Specialists. Discover Quality Green's beautiful nursery with thousands of fruit trees, fruiting plants, flowers, herbs, and vegetables. Enjoy an explosion of color and see amazing results in your garden. Quality Green has the very best in organic-based, sustainable products to grow everything super productive, strong, and healthy. Quality Green Specialists, 335 West Michigan Avenue in DeLand. Conveniently open 9 to 4 daily. Online at qualitygreenspecialists.com.
Hey, it's Jeff Cardozo.
And Pat Dooley.
Join us today at 4 for the tailgate.
Right here on WRUF 98.1 FM and 850 AM, your home for Gator Sports.
Welcome back to Sports Scene as we get to the final half hour of our program today. Obviously, Florida playing USF this week. Here in the Swamp. And joining us now, the play-by-play voice, longtime play-by-play voice of USF, Jim Lauk on the program here. Jim, welcome. Thanks for doing this.
Sure, no problem.
Jim, if I said to you before game one, I said, okay, what do you expect from this USF team? Has that changed any after watching the win in game one over Boise?
Yeah, I think a little bit. I think a lot of us that follow the team thought that this team was probably better on paper than Alex Golish's first two teams here. They addressed depth pretty well in the offseason. I think they worked the portal well, had some guys coming back. So I think there was a lot of optimism coming in, but I'm not sure anyone had them 34 unanswered points against a top 25 team. So there's certainly some encouraging signs after week one.
In this day and age, Jim, the portal and, building teams, different ways. What is your impression of Alex Golish in terms of the job he's done so far there at USF?
I think he's done a remarkable job. He inherited a really, really difficult situation. He took over a team that had won 4 games in 3 years, and 3 out of the 4 wins were against FCS teams. So it was a very bare cupboard when he came here, and he's gone 7-6 in each of his first 2 years. He's won a bowl game in each of his first 2 years. So a lot of progress, but I think a lot of people also look toward that kind of magical third year for a head coach when you've got your players in place, you've got your staff in place, you've got your culture in place. Now do you take the next step? And I think that's what the fan base is kind of looking for this year.
What kind of a guy is Golish?
He's easy to work with. I really enjoy working with him. He's very consistent, believes what he believes, which doesn't mean that he's not willing to change or adjust, but he has a core system that he has a lot of faith in, and he's going to be the same guy every day. If you do your job and you do the right things, he's going to treat you like gold and defend you to the end. If you don't, then you've got some explaining to do. But I like him for his consistency. I like the fact that He's the same guy pretty much every day, no matter what the circumstances are, and he believes the path to winning and success is the same every day, and that's kind of nice to work with, I think.
Jim, let's take the result of the first game out. If I had you on before week one and I said, tell me what you think the strength of this football team would be, what would you have said?
I would be hoping that it would be the quarterback. Everybody was so excited about Byron Brown's return. Guy was terrific in 2023, got hurt at the end of September in 2024, and really was out for the rest of the year. He got a couple of plays in the bowl game, but that was it. Him being healthy and being a leader on offense, I think would have been the thing that I was probably most enthused about. Also, I think the depth on the team. You know, I think they're too deep. The last couple years has been pretty good, but where they got into trouble is who do you have after the too deep? When the inevitable injuries come and when you don't want to play your stars 70 snaps a game, who are you going to go to? And I think that's part of the challenge of why they were able to play with Alabama and Miami and some of the other ranked teams the last couple of years for a significant portion of the game, but then they couldn't finish it out. I really thought in the offseason they addressed the guys beyond the too deep. They're still trying to figure out some rotations and who's going to be in certain situations, but I just think they're so much deeper that also would be one of the things I'd be really enthused about.
Has the fan base gotten behind this team?
Well, last week sure helped.
Yes.
And I think, everybody loves to draw conclusions after week one.
Isn't that the truth?
We'll see how things go as the season goes on, but it was a great start. It was a good crowd, especially, it was a goofball TV start time Thursday at 5:30. And they still had a good representation by the student section and the fan base. So I think people are catching on, but this is a big one this weekend, obviously, for a lot of different reasons.
Jim Loud, play-by-play voice of USF, joining us here as the Bulls come in to take on the Gators on Saturday. Jim, if in your view, I think the point spread something like 17, something like that, but if USF pulls off a win against Florida, what do you think has to happen? What's got to go right for USF?
I'll be curious to see how they can move the football, especially early in the game. Their offense got off to a very, very slow start against Boise State, and I don't think they can afford that on Saturday. Can they run the ball? Can they protect Byron Brown? So often it comes down to line play. We all know that. And I think in the past couple years, South Florida's offensive and defensive line have been a little undersized and a little thin in terms of depth. And again, in the offseason, I think they took steps to correct both of that. They now have veterans on the offensive and defensive line. They used an 8-player rotation on the defensive line last week. That's unheard of in the last couple of years for South Florida. So can you run the ball? Can you stop the run going the other way? Not exactly a revolutionary plan, but I think that's going to be a big part of it on Saturday.
Last thing, Jim. What do you think is the most improved unit on the team from a year ago?
After 1 week, I'd have to say the defense. I thought the defensive line got a pretty decent push against Boise, even though they only got 1 sack. They were creating some havoc and did pretty well against the run. The linebackers with Jalen Schuler and Mac Harris are very experienced and very talented. And the secondary is a lot better, too. Again, they've got more bodies back there, guys you can trust. So at least through week one, holding Boise State to 7 points, and the 1 touchdown Boise State did score was on a failed 4th and 1 by the Bulls offense, resulting in a really short field. So we'll see if it holds up this weekend, but I'd say the defense so far.
All right. Great stuff, Jim. Really appreciate your time. Thanks for taking time, and safe journey here Saturday.
Sounds good. Thank you.
You got it, Jim. Thank you. He's been their play-by-play voice a long time. Jim Lauk telling you about the Bulls football team. Okay, time now for some YouTube questions brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. Ernie says the right side of the line appeared to be a weakness for Florida. If adjustments are made, what do those look like? Tight end, running backs, or next man up? Next man up. I mean, I don't know if you're going to go in game 2 and say we're going to, change a starter. So I think we have to wait and see. But I think at some point, if somebody's not doing what they're supposed to do, then you make a change. Greg says this is USF's head coach's 3rd year, and it's Napier's 4th. Does it show on the field, in your opinion? I don't know what that means. Certainly, by your 3rd or 4th year, I think you want to see the arrow pointing up in some way for your program, Greg. Getting that win for USF over Boise was big. The way Florida ended its season last year was certainly a plus for Billy Napier. Our Facebook question here brought to you by Rose Oak State Farm. Are you planning on having Laura Rutledge on your show in the future? She already was on the show, Michael. She was here the very first day we came back. But she will be with us again. Yes. She's always very kind to do that, and we will have her back. But, yes, you missed it. She was here day number 1 when we came back. Mark says it's easy to point to LSU or Georgia as the biggest games on our International Diamond Center email. Most of us know winning in Tiger Stadium on a Saturday is highly unlikely. Therefore, biggest game has to be Miami, even though it's a non-conference game. If Napier loses again to them, in my opinion, it's probable he finishes that difficult 4-game stretch 1-3 or 0-4. And the Fighting Billy Napiers are on their way to a 7-5 season, as I predicted, or even worse. Your thoughts? I don't think LSU is the game that's the most important game. Because, again, if you win that game, it's an upset. You're beating a top-ranked team at their place on Saturday night in Baton Rouge, which isn't easy to do. I think Texas here is huge. Texas is going to be really good. They're going to get things straightened out before they come here. And you can't lose at home. I think that's the biggest one to me. Tony is one who mentions this, and Robin's another. Did you see Brandon Sproat got called up? Yes. The New York Metropolitans called him up, and he'll start against the Reds in a very big series. The Mets lead the Reds for the final wild card, and I believe he pitches Sunday in that game. So, yes. And Dustin also says, got to start the SEC off right, 1-0, hopefully, against LSU. They're at the top of the league right now. To be the best, you got to beat the best. Okay? Steven says, you think Coach Napier will be cautious about calling running plays for Lagway? Somebody else asked that earlier. I don't know how much cautious, yes. But again, how healthy is he? If he's healthy, you don't change your game plan. If the quarterback run game is part of that, if he's healthy, you do what you're supposed to do. We'll take our final break. We'll come back. We still have more time for your questions, calls, and comments as we broadcast live from the Gator Trim Light Studio for Sports Scene on WRUF, powered by ESPN.
WRUF Sports Center.
I'm Abigail Dressback. As the weekend gets closer, fans are looking forward to the Gators playing in-state rival USF in the Swamp this Saturday. Here's what Billy Napier had to say about DJ Lagway's mentality going into the game this weekend.
He's on a mission this week. He's showed up with an edge every day, and I think he's excited about getting back out there and proving he can play better.
USF is coming into this game off an upset win where they beat Boise State 34-7. Napier also commented on the aggressiveness of the Bulls defense.
Well, they pursue. I think they play with effort. think they're sticky in coverage. I think the gap integrity is good. And I think they do a nice job tackling. So
we'll see how the two teams match up this weekend.
The best conversations happen with Los Linderos tequila, like this recent conversation between two Gator legends.
Coach, you know what always impressed me? How you beat Florida State to win the 1996 national championship.
And I was really impressed with your 06, 08, and 09 Gator teams.
And the way you coached Danny to the Heisman Trophy.
A lot like what you did with Tim Tebow.
To the Swamp and the Gators, with the best beverage served at Spur's Gridiron Grill. 100% agave, Los Linderos tequila. Aged in bourbon barrels for a smoother taste.
Silverback Concrete is a family-led team of heavy concrete specialists that builds commercial structures for contractors who expect unrivaled quality, including the head ball coach's restaurant, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. You only have one chance to make a building that holds up to the highest standards through all kinds of weather. Visit silverbackconcrete.co to see why they're the #1 choice in the Southeast. You stand on it, we stand by it. Silverback Concrete's got your back.
You might know that State Farm agent Ruz Agra has great service. He's your good neighbor after all, but did you know that State Farm has surprisingly good rates too? Yep, that's right. Along with good neighbor service, State Farm agent Ruz Agra has surprisingly great rates for everyone in Gainesville and North Central Florida. So call State Farm agent Ruz Agra at 352-240-1779 for your surprisingly great rates today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
Hey, it's Steve Russell for Southeast Car Agency in Gainesville, 310 Northeast 39th Avenue. Friends, they've been in business for 45-plus years, and the Cousins family has done just one thing, but man, they've done it right. They give you the best alternative you have to purchasing a new vehicle, the best in late-model, low-mileage vehicles. I'm driving one right now, have been for a very long time. They've treated me right. They'll do the same thing for you. Go see them today, Southeast Car Agency in Gainesville.
The most important thing I learned from my father was work ethic and integrity. Never veer away from integrity, even if it costs you money.
International Diamond Center owner Keith LeClaire.
The core value for IDC is to protect the customer.
That means offering the largest selection, uncompromising quality, the strongest warranties, and honest guidance from experts who are not paid on commission. International Diamond Center at Celebration Point. Online, shopidc.com.
Thankfully, we haven't had any strong rains or winds this storm season, but it's not over yet. Daughtry Tree Service reminds you that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, meaning fix it now before it's a problem. If you have broken, dead, or compromising limbs, shallow roots, or deceased trunks, call Daughtry Tree for a free risk assessment. Now that just makes sense. Local, trusted, and fully insured. Be safe and make your appointment today. Visit DaughtryTree.com. Daughtry Tree, your tree service people.
From the UF Weather Center, here is your WRUF weather update.
Sunshine and much warmer today. Look for a high of 93 degrees this afternoon. Humidity still held in check, so that's why I'm not really going to throw in some afternoon showers. 72 for the overnight low tonight. Tomorrow, though, different story. A little bit more humidity in the air. 93. We'll have that heat index back up to about 96, and we'll feel a little on the stuffy side. From the WUFT Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Tim Miller.
This is Jeff Cardozo. Today at 4, tune in for the tailgate with myself and Pat Dooley, right here on WRUF 98.1 FM, 850 AM, your home for Gator Sports.
A little bit of trivia with that group, CCR, Creedence Clearwater Revival, never had a #1 song, but had like 3 songs go to #2. They never got to #1 for whatever the reason. All right, we're going to go to our International Diamond Center email, to our Titan MRI phone line for a bunch of calls here, and also want to make sure I thank our friends at Fairlife Milk, because you can check out our daily clip of the day on WRUF Facebook and YouTube at WRUF Home of the Gators, brought to you by Fairlife Milk. Rob's going to start us on the phone line here. Rob, hello.
Steve, welcome back, man. It's so good to hear that voice.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, this, you go into week 2, and what you want to do is not digress. You want to improve from last week and tighten up, the loose ends or whatever. See if we can get some intermediate ball in there. But about running the quarterback, I think the quarterback for Seattle, Russell. He plays for the Seattle Seahawks.
Russell Wilson, you mean?
Yes, Russell Wilson. That guy was the most strategic running quarterback. Stayed healthy. Only ran when he knew he was going to get some yards. Was able to get down when he saw a lot of daylight. So yeah, we can run him. He's a good runner, but we have to be strategic with that. We don't want to overwhelm him out. What we want to do is just improve from this week to next week, and then game 3. That's the barometer there, Steve. But I enjoy the show, man. I'm very happy the boys are playing good, and we're just cruising, Steve. Take care.
Rob, thank you. Mike, hello.
Hey, Steve. If South Florida plays with the effort that they played with against Boise State, which I thought was off the charts good, their pursuit, their tackling was violent. I mean, they were really – I think that's why they beat Boise State so bad. Was the effort was so much more. And I won't be surprised if this game goes down to the wire. That team looks like they're really playing hard. And I think that's the difference in a lot of these games. I thought Bama didn't play hard. I think if you look at it, the team that has the best effort and is trying the hardest every single play, that's usually the team that wins. And I want your opinion on this too, Steve. I'd like to see a little bit more emotion out of Lagway and communication with the other players and the coaches. Many times when he would go sit down, he'd just sit by himself, not talking to the receivers, not talking to linemen, not talking to coaches. That doesn't usually happen. Usually the quarterback's over there communicating, looking at charts to see what he did wrong. Did you notice that too?
Well, different ways to slice the pie. You can get on a headset and talk to your offensive coaches in the box.
I didn't see that.
You don't have to be running around doing a lot of stuff on the sidelines. There's different ways to get it done. I think as long as he's comfortable with what's going on offensively and the coaching staff is comfortable with what he's doing, I think that's the most important thing. But I get your point. I mean, I don't look at the sidelines all the time, but I'm sure if there's something that the coaching staff needs to communicate with him, that's being done.
Well, I was watching on TV, and he didn't even have a headset on. And even the broadcaster said something about it, him just going sitting by himself.
Well, but that's one time they looked over there, Mike, as opposed to the entire game.
Well, I think it was more than one time, but that's okay, Steve. I'd just like to see more emotion on the field, too. It just, just a little more fire.
All right.
I think he's kind of playing timid still.
Okay. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate your call. Adam, hello.
Hey, Steve. Fantastic Thursday, my man. Thank you for the show. I'd like to make a statement, first of all, that I think is across the board when it comes to Gator Nation. Watching a film review, GNFP, little shout-out, film review on the offensive line, man, they have to get that straight. They have to get that straight, and I think they will. With this USF game, so I'm really looking forward to them getting that figured out before the LSU game. As far as the biggest games coming up, you talked me into Texas. You're right. We have to win in the swamp, number one. So I answered that. And here's my question to you, and I'll take this off air. So there was a lot of talk in the offseason about how many new quarterbacks were littered throughout the SEC, right? I think there's only 4 that were actually returning with starting reps. DJ Lagway, Diego Pavia, Nussmeier out of LSU, blah, 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 blah. And I may be off by a couple. But Shane Matthews had a really good point, I thought, during the offseason about how much these other quarterbacks, now we're not really talking about Ty Simpson in Alabama, obviously, but what's your opinion about these new quarterbacks across the SEC? And let me not leave out Hoover over there at TCU. Go Gators.
All right.
USF.
Thank you. Well, obviously, Mateer has had an impact early with Oklahoma. Arnold had a good game with Auburn. Again, it's one game. So the quarterback position is the most important position in sports, in my opinion. And Simpson for Alabama did not have a good game like most of the rest of Alabama's guys. All right. Again, all of our guests, courtesy of Meldon Law. We go to our Titan MRI and Imaging phone line for a final call from John. Hi, John.
Hey, Steve. Have you heard all the experts talk about the Alabama coach and saying it's obvious he would never have made it or he wouldn't make it in the SEC because he's never coached south of some crazy line? Like, he's never coached the South, so it's obvious he wouldn't make it. Have you heard people say that?
No, and I think that's kind of ridiculous, but okay.
I do too. I've heard people act like it's an obvious. If you've never coached in the South, then don't hire a guy. I mean, I don't understand that thought. If you haven't heard it, that's fine. My second thing is, do you like the shuffling of the running backs, Ball, and especially when Ball's on a tear? Would you take out a running back who's on a tear like we do?
Depends on the situation, time of the game. The days, I think, of, the Derrick Henry type who, carries it 30 times for, whatever, those are gone for the most part. If you have a couple of running backs that are good, I mean, do you want to play I've always wanted to play a hot back. If a guy was really running the ball, keep him in there. But if not, and you have a quality second guy in there, get him in there. If the drop-off isn't a whole lot, give the first guy a little blow.
Yeah. Do you think our drop is a lot?
No, I do not. Okay. I think the running back room is very deep.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Steve.
John, thank you. Appreciate your call. And again, I want to thank all of our sponsors today. Ruse Ogra, sponsoring our Facebook Live questions, Campus USA with our YouTube questions, our phone line, Titan MRI and Imaging, and our emails, courtesy of International Diamond Center. All of our guests, courtesy of Meldon Law and Quality Plumbing, are sponsored today as well. And, of course, we come to you always live in the Gator Trim Light Studio, always powered by our friends at Southeast Car Agency in Gainesville. Go see them for the best in late model, low mileage vehicles, and tell them Sports Scene sent you. Don't forget, this week in Gator Sports, Jeremy's got that. Don't move. We'll see you tomorrow. I'm Steve Russell as you listen to WRUF powered by ESPN.
Cowboys Eagles NFL kickoff tonight after Gator Talk with Billy Napier right here on WRUF.
It's lunchtime and nobody does lunch like Pomodoro Cafe. From Italian dishes to sub